Hello everybody and welcome back to another video today. Actually, the third one for the day. I decided to do a three-way day of videos. First one, obviously, Democrats path the majority. Then a Kansas Owens versus Tulsi Gabbard prediction. I guess tonight, talking about Senator Ron Johnson, breaking essentially, will be seeking re-election for a third term. Now, it has not been an official statement on behalf of Ron Johnson and his um, and his, I guess, staff. However, he has it's pretty now widespread and known that he plans to run for re-election to a third term. Here you can read it right here. U.S. Senator Ron Johnson plans to run for a third term. A Republican source confirmed to Fox 6 News on Friday, January 7th. According to multiple media reports, the announcement could come next week. So the campaign will kick off next week. This is what we are going to expect as we head into 2022. It is election year, an election season, especially the spring season, where the primaries are bound to happen. Primary, and so many interesting primaries that are going to happen. So if you were thinking, hey, I'll take a break from politics and wait until late summer to get back into the election season again, I wouldn't even. I would stay in it for a little bit while longer into the spring, and then maybe honestly through November, because you are going to see a lot of very interesting primaries happen across the country. When you look at when you look in Wyoming with Liz Cheney and her opponent, I'm pretty sure she'll be ousted, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in that Ohio Senate primary. I forgot I think its name's J.D. Vance, to see if he's the one there who wins or if it's that other establishment person who also is, more of a Republican as well. J.D. Vance, more of the conservative, far to the right, and then the other establishment, more center right. And then also back in the Arizona primary with whatever his name is. I always forget their names. Mark Brnovich and the other one, the more conservative one, to see what happens in that primary. So many names in my head, I guess, at the moment. It's hard to think of them. So it's going to be definitely 2022, the year of primaries. That's what I would characterize 2022 as. 2021, I would characterize that as the year of the trials. When you look at all of the different trials that happened with George Floyd, with Kyle Rittenhouse, with Jussie Smollett, Christine Maxwell, Ahmaud Arbery, there were so many different trials that happened in 2021. I would say that's a defining feature of that year. And then when you look at 2020, the coronavirus. So the last 3 years and going into 2022, if I can make a prediction, 2020 year of virus, 2021 year of the trials, court trials, and 2022 the year of primaries, political primaries. And a lot of these former Republicans, not at the moment former Republicans, incumbent Republicans, could become former Republicans, could get ousted. However, let's take a look at Ron Johnson. I don't think he'll be primaried by anybody, but we're going to take a look and I'm going to give my analysis on what I think is going to happen. So Ron Johnson, previously pledged in 2016 not to run for a third term, as you can read right here. But he rescinded that promise and kicked around running again for months. So, Democrats, I guess, could try and attack him, or his political opponent could try and attack him as somebody who breaks his promises, saying that he would only run for 2 terms, because he kind of champions the fact that people stay in Washington and never leave, all the way from Mitch McConnell, who's been there for over 40 years, to Nancy Pelosi, who's been there for over 40 years. That's kind of one of the defining features that he ran on in the beginning. People can, and his opponents, Democrat opponents, that will certainly happen. Will attack him on that. Somewhat of an issue. I don't think that's much of a winning issue, because I don't think that people really care much about that. They care more about the substance than the actual. More about the substance than the actual, I guess, form. But I guess it's both. But more of the political policies. But talking about Ron Johnson and talking about what I think will happen in 2022. Now, we don't know what's going to happen in 10 months. However, at the moment, current state of the country and the trends in Wisconsin and the historical precedent of Ron Johnson in Wisconsin, I'm pretty sure he'll win. I think he's got a very, very good shot at winning. I think if the polls end up what you start looking at when they have those polls against his Democrat rival, and it's looking like the Democrats going to win by 3 to 4 points, I think that's dead wrong, as usual, from those polls in the Rust Belt. Those Rust Belt polls have been wrong election after election after election, and they've always continued. They somehow seem to underestimate the Republicans. When you look back in 2020 and you look back at that ABC poll from 538 or NBC poll, whatever it was, and it had Joe Biden, and this was October like 28th, a few days before the election, and it had Joe Biden up 17 points in Wisconsin against Donald Trump. 17 points. You know how much Joe Biden ended up winning in Wisconsin by? About 0.5%. I don't know how a poll can be off by 17 points, and that's, an A-rated pollster by 538. That's their own pollster. That's supposed to be a very credible source right there. And they're off by just such a crazy margin, insane margin. I don't know how you can be off that far. I really don't. I mean, I'm not judging, their bias. I'm just judging the efficacy of their polling. And I don't know how they are polling. Not just that poll. That's obviously the most extreme poll. But you can look at you just take a look at all of the polls from 2020. Essentially, all of them underestimated Trump. They underestimated the Republicans in Wisconsin, and they will underestimate Ron Johnson. He won in 2016. He won in 2010. He'll win in 2022. You take my word by that. Take me to the bank there. He will win the 2022 Senate race in Wisconsin. He's popular there. He won by a few points back in 2016. 2010, another red wave year. 2022 is expected to be a red wave year. He will win there. So I think people are dead wrong when they say Wisconsin is like going to be one of the most insane toss-up races of the election season. I guess it depends on who his political opponent is, but I'm pretty confident that Ron Johnson will retain the Senate in Wisconsin. And Democrats should be more concerned, or more interested, I guess, if they think that they could somehow expand their Senate majority in winning that Pennsylvania race, which I said was the most likely to flip blue out of all of them, although, it's obviously not my prediction that will happen there, but that's the most likely state, and defending races like Mark Kelly's in Arizona, and especially Raphael Warnock's in Georgia, which in my mind is the most vulnerable to flip. Ron Johnson's race, they should not be focusing their attention there. They should be focusing it on defending the races that they need to keep their Senate majority, and possibly in Pennsylvania, which they have a shot at. I would say 3 states the Democrats need to focus on most. If you want to make it 4, I would say Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Those are what they need to be looking at, because Ron Johnson's race is not going to be anywhere as near competitive as the other ones, and I think he will win that race in Wisconsin. So anyway, let me know what you guys think will happen in this race in the comments below. If you think that Ron Johnson, how you think he will do, if you think he'll lose or if he'll win, and what you think of my analysis. And make sure once more to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are getting so close to 400 subscribers. If we could get to 375 by tomorrow, that would be awesome. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get us to 375. And like the video, stay tuned once more for more awesome videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.